2023 New York Marathon. Before we dig into some of the details here, make sure you like, subscribe, share. If you do need some coaching, make sure you reach out happily to give you some personal race insights leading up to this race here. And for everyone else, hope you have a great race to your 2023 New York Marathon. So without further ado, let's get stuck in here. We're going to go over some pre-race logistics, things like that, and then we're going to go over the race course and how to manage your effort to best achieve race day success out on the day. So this is our landing page. Moving over to the expo, which everyone should be talking about here. You have to visit the expo in person to pick up your race materials, and you must bring a photo ID and runner confirmation form with you. You do not need to show proof of vaccination to pick up your race materials. Also, you must pick up a time slot, and that section is available on your New York Roadrunners dashboard from noon on August 16th until 4 p.m. on November 4th. So a pretty wide range to do that. So hours of operation and time slots for the big bib pickup is Thursday, November 2nd, 10 to 8 p.m. Friday, November 3rd, again 10 to 8, and Saturday, November 4th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So again, how do you select a time slot to get to your expo time or your bib pickup time? Going to go over to your registration events. This is all in your profile there, and it walks you through there. So again, we are on the expo page of our landing page here. So make sure you just head on over to there and enter what time slot you want to do it. Getting to the expo, it also has a couple of different things, a couple of ways for you to get there. Highly encourage you to take some of the public transportation out there. Pre-bag check. Deadline to pick up your baggage, September 12th at noon. Baggage selection is now closed. You will not be able to check a bag at the start on race morning and have it transported to the finish. Registration for bag pre-check closes September 12th. So you should have already done that. And again, you can read some of the other things that you can or cannot do of how to select bag pre-check, all that good stuff leading up to the race. Opening ceremony presented by United Airlines. This is pretty cool here. This happens on Friday, November 3rd at 5 p.m. So again, if you haven't picked up your packet, it might conflict with this time. Location and spectator access. Check out the Parade of Nations map here, which we will do for you really quickly. Starts right up here and it crosses the finish line right down there. Pretty self-explanatory. And it walks you through some other stuff as well. Marathon Monday, this is the time, the day after, where you can go and get your medal engraved. And the hours of operation for something like that are from 7 to 6 p.m., so a pretty wide range of time. The line for medal engraving closes at 5 to allow for everyone to kind of get everything done. It does list the location right through here. You can click that, and then the details and activations over here. So New Balance official finisher gear. Celebrate your finish with the official New Balance 23 TCS New York City Marathon finisher collection. So you'll be able to purchase some other things there. That metal engraving is going to be $28, which is cash or card. And there is going to be the HSS recovery zone as well. And that is Marathon Monday. The start line. So before we do this, if we do head over to the course profile, their course, and we'll dive into some of those details. The runner guide is a very, very useful thing of, excuse me, I'm bouncing around here. The runner guide is a very important piece of information that you should just read over. It has a lot of really, really cool stuff. Scrolling down here, it talks about your race numbers. So the start color, the background is blue, pink, or orange, and that color indicates your start village and your start line. The wave right here also lists right there is 1 to 5, and that indicates your wave. The corral, right, is the next one over, and that's going to have the letter A through F indicating your start corral. Pretty cool how they break it down on the race number. Bottom left is also going to have your name, gender, age, official transportation assignment, and departure time, and your team. In your baggage selection, pre-bag check, if this is left blank, you did not select pre-bag check, and you can read more about that here. Back of the race number, you have two timing devices right through here. Make sure you do not remove those on race day. It talks about having all four corners of your race number pinned on your shirt where it is very clear to see. Official bags are the only bags permitted in the Fort Waldsworth and the finish area, and you can click this link for permitted and prohibited items. This is the Start Village bag, pre-check bag. Very, very cool stuff. Things you're just going to put in your bag. You'll get them later on. The starting area and the start talks about how there's 1,700 toilets, so don't stress about that. And again, it's a plethora of information. Official transportation options, it lists those. These are the official ones. There's probably a little bit more that you can get to the start line over there and the start timeline. So at 8 o'clock, the men's professional wheelchair division happens, and they do 2 minutes later, the women. 20 minutes later, the push and hand cycle AWD Category 1, and then Category 2 happens there. The priceless start happens at 8:25 a.m. Then professional women start at 8:40 in the morning. Professional men start 25 minutes later at 9:05 a.m. So that first wave start, that wave 1 start happens at 9:10 a.m. Sub-elite blue start, 15 plus runners. Orange, local competitive, pink start, and second AAWD, duo team guide, and support. Those are going to be the ones that are in Wave 1. Wave 2 happens at 9:45. So there's a bit of time in between each wave. There is a lot of people that have to kind of push the line and go past it for it to start. So that's why the large gaps of time exist here. Wave 2 happens at, I said, 9:45 in the morning. Wave 3 is 10:20. Wave 4, 10:55. And Wave 5 is 11:30. So a large range of time in between. If you haven't done a major marathon before, expect a lot of people to just be around. So this is a corral timeline. This is really, really cool. Corrals open for Wave 1 at 8:10 a.m. Corrals close at 8:45, and the wave starts at 9, and I'm reading that right through here. It lists all of these for all of the waves. Very, very important piece of information for you to know for your corrals. So again, make sure you check where your wave is when the corrals open and close and when you do start. They usually stick to these pretty rigorously. Security over here talks about permitted and prohibited items, things like that. And again, you can read that kind of on your own time. Finish and post-finish. This is that Marathon Monday that we talked about earlier. So again, just a lot of really, really good information, and it talks about some things leading up to the race that you should know. Now, the start. Here we go. So the start, let's go over here and check out the start map to hopefully eliminate some confusion here. And this is it, guys. So let's zoom in a little bit more to help get you some clarity here. So this is our blue village. I almost called it the corral. The blue village up here. Over here we have the orange one, and over here we have the pink one. And you can see that the way that it does get to your starting line. So this is this orange one. It wraps through here. These are the corrals, and you will head out to your start that way. The blue start happens up here, and you just naturally make your way through there. There's going to be a ton of signs. There's going to be a lot of help going on there. So again, don't feel like you're going to be totally on your own. There's going to be a lot of people doing the same thing. If you do get super stressed out there, just remember everyone is doing the same thing here. And if you can do some strategies to help calm those nerves before your race starts, it's going to be much, much more beneficial for you. So this is our start timeline. We've already gone over this a couple of times, but you can see it there again. Staging and start villages. You may not check a bag at the start for transportation to the finish. The only bag allowed in this area in the Start Village bag you received at the expo, and all of those bags are subject to inspection. So make sure you don't carry anything that is not allowed there. Start lines and waves. There are 3 starts, the pink, the orange, and the blue, and each have 5 waves. Each wave has 6 corrals. And we talked about how to identify that earlier with our race number on that runner's information page on the course section. We will go back there in a second. Pacers. There is a load of pacers to choose from. Wave 1 has a bunch of pacers. Wave 2, again, 3, and then it continues. All right. So again, for instance, wave 3, right, if I know that I'm in Corral A, there is a 350 pacer there, and I will be close to that. Easy. So I would consult this page here, and again, we are on the start page, so go to your race day banner and hit the start section right there, and you can scroll down and find your pacer right here. I'm going to minimize that again. Health and safety guidelines. You can choose to open this and read it if you choose. Highly encourage you to do that. It talks about medical support, the event alarm system, and the elevated lactation experience for nursing mothers. Very cool indeed. Security measures. Opening up this page, it will tell you prohibited items, things like that. Talks about bag inspection, prohibited items, which we have gone over before, and the no drone zone. Make sure you read all of this here, and especially the transportation to the start over there. So talking about the finish here, the finish and post finish section on our marathon guide page. Talks about all of the things like family reunion. This is a very key one. It's going to be located at Central West Park between 63rd Street and 66th Street with screening points for entry for friends and family on Columbus Avenue. So they have letters over here where you can meet up. They encourage you to do it based off of last name. So West 66th Street will be A through D. 65th is going to be E to K. 64th going to be L to Q. And 63rd R to Z. Very cool. It makes it very easy to meet up with people there. And that is the post-finish area there. There's going to be food. There is a page on how to watch it. Make sure you can do it locally. You can watch it nationally. I believe that there is going to be an app powered by Tata Consultancy Services available in the App Store or Google Play Store. So make sure you just click that and you will be able to download it. You can also watch it globally on these channels here. So very cool and a lot of ways to watch, which is very awesome. This is our course map for race day. Scrolling down here, this is where we start, right in Staten Island over here. Crossing the bridge, and depending on what color you are, right, you're going to make some different adjustments there, but it all kind of comes together at mile 8, and then after that point in time, everyone's running the same course, and you pretty much are running the same course. You get the same mileage out there, and don't fret about that too much. Race course is pretty similar regardless of which category or which color you are racing, so don't fret about that. This one, I don't like it a whole lot because it doesn't have water and aid and all of that good stuff out here for race day, but we're going to talk about that in more detail in 1 minute. So this is our marathon profile here, and let's see. So this is our marathon profile page. You can see it on Strava. We are going to be coming back to this, but I just wanted to let you know that this is what it looks like with 780 feet of elevation gain on race day. Mile markers are going to be posted every mile, and kilometer signs are going to be posted every 5K. All course clocks are set to correspond to wave 1. So when you are released, you're not going to be released on that time, right? So say you are wave 4, you're going to have a start time that's wildly different than wave 1, right? But make sure you're just keeping track of it on your watch because of those trackers that you have on the back of your race number, right? You are going to get your race from chip to chip time. So what I mean by that is when you start, your official time starts, and when you finish, your official time starts. It's not going to be added on based off of the wave one time for whenever you left. So don't fret about that. Fluids, food, and amenities. One of the most important sections out on this kind of page here. Water is going to be available at official fluid stations every mile from mile 3 to mile 25, except at mile 5, 7, and 9. Gatorade Endurance Formula Lemon Lime flavor available at official water stations from every mile 3 to 25 with the same mile markers not involved. Fluid will be dispensed in compostable cups. There's going to be tables on both sides of the course, so you don't have to worry about crossing all the way over to get to your fuel. To avoid the bottleneck at the first table, get a cup from a later table, so don't everyone all get that first table cup. If you are worried about overheating and calorie intake and all of that, then ignore that advice and get the first cup at there. But it's just going to be one of those things you're just going to have to gauge when you're out on course. If you see that first table really scrambling and there's just not any more cups available, don't be afraid to skip that. There are going to be more than one option for you at each aid station. Science and Sport Energy Gels, they're going to be available on the course at miles 12 and 18 to help you fuel. If you are an athlete who needs a little more calories, I would plan on bringing a little bit more stuff out there. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with just a few offerings leading up to this point. Bananas, miles 21 and 23, and the lactation tents are going to be at 8, 16, and 22. So very, very cool indeed. Make sure, again, if you are an athlete who needs additional calories, you are not waiting until those aid stations out on course. You might want to plan to bring something with you to help get you there. These toilets are located at every mile beginning at mile 3. So as long as you get to that third mile in the race, you should be okay. Medical aid. Medical aid is located approximately every mile, again, starting at mile 3 and at the finish. So you will have ample opportunity to hit a aid tent if you do need it. You can also read about the sweep buses and bridge/street closures and reopenings right through here. Very, very important stuff there. And again, make sure you do read that runner guide over there. And now let's get into some of the meat and potatoes of this course right here. So what we're going to do is we are going to zoom into this section of our Strava map here. And we're going to start the official race breakdown here. So for this first little bit, you are going to be running up the bridge right through there, right in frame. Make sure you are pacing that very, very carefully. Going to be very easy for you to overdo it. Chances are you are going to be locked into the pace around you for this section here. There's just a ton of runners mixing and matching, and you're going to be dodging shoes and heels for this section. Anyways, if you do get caught in a pack that's just moving you down the road a little bit too fast, just kind of, do your best to keep your heart rate down, keep your running form, and, when there is an opportunity to let those guys pass, just let them pass. Now, inversely, after you do cross the crest of that bridge here, you are going to be plummeting down, and this is going to be our first big key to the course. This section doesn't last a long time. We're talking from mile 0.4 all the way down to let's call it 1.8 over there, right? So a little bit longer than you want it to last, and this is just going to soften your legs up if you're not careful. If you are still in that pre-race, just jittery, just really excited at this point in time, and you're not really worried about what's going on, chances are your running form is going to degrade. Things aren't going to be going great out there, and you just will have no idea because it's the first couple of miles of the race. First big key to the course, during this section that we're talking about, right through here, you are going to want to monitor your running form. Yeah, you are going to be going a little bit faster, absolutely, right? But you got to be doing that in control, okay? So don't push it too aggressively and let gravity kind of do the work for you here. Next section that we are talking about is this one right here, and there's rollers in here. We have a couple of ups, a couple of downs, and these uphills are not super aggressive for the most part. Rolling over with Strava, we are talking about, 2-ish% for the most part. This is a sneaky one that happens right at mile 3, and it starts to just climb, 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 and then it pops right up at the very top. And then again over here, cresting out at 2%, that is our maximum during this section. And again, this all happens before mile 5, and the bulk of the challenge on this section happens before mile 4 even. So this is a great opportunity to kind of blow your legs and go out at a race pace that is unrealistic for you. Check in with yourself, see what's going on, watch your running form, and just ask yourself, am I running the pace of the group or am I running my pace? At this point in time, we're about a week out here, and you should know what race pace you are going to be running at, and you should have trained at it a couple of times at least leading up to this point. If you find yourself absolutely crushing these hills through here, alarm bells should be going off, and just you need to not ignore them yet. All right. Next area over here, this is a little up and down section here. And again, this is another area where athletes start to turn on the afterburners, right? They made it through the first 5. They're feeling good. Let me climb up this little hill right through here. And again, it's not super aggressive. You can absolutely do it. It's under 2%. At this point in time, you should still be checking in with your form here. Now, this next section leading up to our mile, I think that's mile 7.5, 8 right here. This section here, again, you have a little downhill that will soften your legs up, and it goes right into an uphill section here. This section out on course is going to be one of our more aggressive hills here. At 2.8% is the max-ish, I believe. 2.7 right through here, and then it starts to cool off. So again, this is the first real opportunity your legs are going to get some resistance on them for a little bit of an extended period of time. And that hill will crest at about mile 8.36, so 8.4. And again, this is going to be the first real place where you see a lot of athletes really start to kind of come unglued a little bit because they've ran 8.5 miles not at their pace. So be very, very cautious leading up to this point, and I would actually use this 8.4 mile hill as a benchmark as to how you're doing, right? If you've held back, you've done a great job at this point in time, then at 8.4, you can kind of start to pick the pace up until this big hill over here, obviously. So be aware of what's happening, make it to 8.4, evaluate what's going on. Have you gone too easy? Have you gone too hard? Make some adjustments. Always be checking in with your calories, with your water intake or hydration intake. Highly encourage you to do the Gatorade. Love that stuff out there. Then you will be greeted by a nice little downhill all the way up to about mile 10. Again, very similar to that first couple of miles coming off of the bridge. You are going to be running downhill. This is a great opportunity for you to just totally floor it if you're not paying attention. Pay attention to what's going on. You need to be aware. You need to be aware. You need to be aware. All right. A lot of athletes are still ignoring all of those warning bells, and you should not be. So if you've gone too fast here, yeah, use those hills a little bit of a gravity assist, right? But don't take that as an opportunity if you're an 8-minute miler. Don't take that as an opportunity to run down this hill at a 5:30 pace, because you're going to pay for it later on. Climbing back up through this section here, the 2 bunny ears. Again, this is another major checkpoint for you. So the first one happened right here. The second one is going to happen right through here. And this should just really be solidifying each other's confirmations at these hills right through here. How are you feeling? Did you go out too hard? Did you go out too soft? If you got out too soft, this is a great opportunity anyways for you to pick up the effort and pace a little bit here. This point it's going to be a little challenging and it's a little tricky in here, but again, it's nothing super crazy aside from this hill right through here, which is greeting you with a 4.2, 4.4% here. Now, everyone's going to be talking about this hill up here, and for this point, I am going to zoom out a little bit so you can see exactly where this is happening out on the map. This big uphill is the bridge right through there. If you can see that little blue dot right up here where my cursor is, as I'm going over it, it's crossing the bridge right through there. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom in here so we can get a good little gauge of this as we talk about it. All right. So, This is our hill here. Again, this is the probably one of the bigger keys out on course. And what you should be doing is using this hill as a springboard for your success later on in the race. You should not be viewing this hill as an opportunity to absolutely demolish it. You should be using this hill as a gateway to your finish success. And what I mean by that is as you get up this hill or approach this hill, just steadily get up the hill. And it doesn't have to be super aggressive, it doesn't have to be super fast. The goal is to get to the top of this hill feeling strong. That is the ultimate goal. If you can do that, the rest of this race is going to be a little bit easier than most people have told you. So get up to this hill, maintain everything, and when you get to the top, now is the time for you to slowly just turn the screws on all your competitors here. Don't be surprised if one of the winning moves happens right out here in age groups and things like that. If you are running with a group of runners and you want to totally ditch them, this would be a great opportunity to do so. And a great strategy is to let one of the more confident runners kind of set the pace up this hill, and don't even be afraid to let them go out 100, 200 meters. Because if you arrive at the top of the hill comfortable and they're totally gassed, it's going to be happy days for you later on, probably around this point in time right through here. So get to the top of this hill ready to put the pedal to the metal after you get to about this section out on course. We're going to talk about that right now. So if you are having a good day, we're going to go back to this point in time and talk about if you're having a bad day as well. But if you are having a good day, this section on the downhill, we're talking about running form yet again. All right. Very, very important for you to maintain that there. And a lot of times athletes forget that, at this point in time. We're talking mile 16, 15 and a half, a little bit more right through here. So athletes are just checking the box and saying, hey, I got 10 miles left. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm feeling great, or I'm not, whatever. And that's really all they're thinking about down this hill here. And a lot of times that is a race ender. Be mentally sharp through here. Keep your mental focus. That's pretty much going to have to happen up until mile 23, all right? So you're going to have to be mentally sharp up until that point. This next section out on course, one of the biggest sections out on course, I call this the go section, all right? If you're feeling good, you're feeling great, this is the opportunity for you to increase it a little bit here. This is your chance to totally annihilate some of your competition, but doing that in control. A lot of athletes get off of this downhill, feel really great, and they just go way too hard. They go all out instead of just picking the pace up 5-10 seconds per mile. So again, just be careful with that. As the miles go by, check in with yourself and say, hey, do I have a little bit more in the tank? Or is this my pace today, right? And if that's your pace, that's your pace. But if you say, hey, I'm feeling pretty good, you should be able to comfortably run at race pace during this point in time. As you approach one of the last major hills that everyone's probably talking about, climbing up to the entrance of Central Park right through here. As I've gone over that, you can see that the gradient out on course isn't aggressive. Aside from one little area that's a sneaky, let's call it 3.64% right in there, but that does end very quickly. But once you're in Central Park, it's rolling down hills all the way through to the finish. So turn the screws through this section, get to the bottom of this hill, ready to work, right? It's going to be one of the last real work areas right through there. And then once you get to the top here, then it's all mental. That's all it is. It's 23.7 miles once you get to the top. So there's only a couple left here. And as you zigzag through Central Park, again, you're going to be dumped down. There's going to be some aggressive down gradients. And there is one final climb all the way up to the finish line, starting at mile 25.6 and lasting up until 25.9, 25.8, somewhere in there. And the gradient on that is 2.4%. So you're not out of the woods totally when you are climbing up to the finish line, but by that point in time, the large work has been completed for the finish there. Now let's go back in time here and talk about this hill again if things aren't going well. If you approach this hill and you're about halfway up and the wheels just kind of come off and your legs explode, right? think back to your race nutrition and hydration. What has happened leading up to this point? Even if you're having a great day, you should be doing this very frequently. What's my calorie count? How much food have I had? How much liquid have I had? Have I done this in the proper way leading up to this race? Or excuse me, have I done this in the proper way that I usually do it leading up to this race? Or am I doing something totally different and under fueling or under hydrating, right? And just actively check those boxes. And if you do all of that, I promise you, you're going to find the problem. Now, finding the problem is the first step through here. Now, correcting the problem is going to take a little bit of time, I'm going to be honest with you, but it is doable, and you can reverse kind of those effects that you have put on yourself up until for these first 15 miles. So if you are cramping up to this point, it's probably an electrolyte related issue. If you are just having stomach cramps, things aren't going great for you, check in with your fuel, okay? If you're just feeling totally out of sorts, your pacing might be off, or it could be a combo of all of those things, and that's not always the case. Those are just blanket statements, okay? Of course. Now, once you get to the top of this hill, you should actively be aware of what you need to do to adjust this, A, and B, fix this. And the quicker you can react to this, the quicker you're going to reverse this. Again, this section here isn't totally daunting, right? You're not having a lot of elevation through this point in here that I told everyone else to just slowly turn the screws to have the best race of their lives. But you can take this section as an opportunity to counteract what has happened up to this point in time. If you need to walk, run, don't be afraid to walk, run. Walk a mile, run a mile, walk 30 seconds. Or, that can go down to half a mile and 10-second walk, or it can go even lower to a quarter-mile run. It can go as low as run 100, walk 100, and it can even go lower than that. And as you slowly start to fix these issues, right, that number can, of course, start to balloon up, the run to walk ratio. So if you're running 10 steps and walking 10 steps, after you start to fix things, your body's going to start to get it together again. You slowly gave it enough time to kind of recover and put the stuff in your body to fix everything, right? And as time goes on, as you slowly start to get through this section, that ratio should start to increase. If it's not, chances are what you're doing probably isn't the right thing, okay? If you keep doing the same thing and there's no success with it, you probably need to change that, right? So be smart on race day, and that's one of the biggest things that athletes get wrong, regardless of pace, heart rate, cadence, and all that. They just kind of lose their head out there and they do things totally different. I want to show you a tab for the wind and weather here really quick before we get out of here. So this is our wind map for New York City right here. We're starting right over here in our marathon. We're crossing over. We're zigzagging all the way up, crossing over, rolling back down, and finishing right through here. So this is our map. This is Saturday. The weather for Sunday isn't out totally yet. This is the 11 a.m. prediction here, and you can see that the wind is projected. Once you get in these little areas, it slowly starts to come down in between that 8 and 13 area. But for the start, it's probably going to be a little bit higher. And if we do go back to that 8 a.m., again, we're rolling in the high teens or low teens. And as the day goes on, that slowly starts to change a bit. And if we zoom out, we can see why. This is what the weather is projected to do right now on Saturday. There is a swell here, and if we move out even further, we can see that happens right through here, and it just rolls up the coast there. Keep an eye on the weather, and if we do go to our weather.com and we do hit up the 10-day forecast here, you will see very similar things than what I just said there. So wind 9 miles an hour projected on Sunday, and the winds are coming from the exact same place, from the west-northwest area. And again, pretty perfect day. Supposedly, as of right now, it's going to peak at 62 degrees. I wouldn't be surprised if that changes. Tuesday, we do have PM showers in New York. So that might roll up to Monday, but as of right now, I don't want to jinx it, but this is what the weather is looking like on race day. Should be pretty solid if it holds true. And that is the weather that is projected for it. As we slowly start to close this video out here. I'm going to open up the fluids and amenities that they are having on race day. And again, I want to go over it. So the water, I know we've already said it, but the water is going to happen, official fluid stations every mile from mile 3 to 25, except for 3 places, and that's the bridges. All right, 5, 7, and 9. So if we go back and we go roll over here, let's zoom out so you can see exactly where that is out on course. It's a little too far for you. So for mile 5, that is right through here. Mile 7 ish, right around here. And then mile 9, right through there. Those are the areas where there is no water, 5, 7, 9, or Gatorade Endurance 5, 7, 9. And again, you do have to wait for mile 3 for all of these to start, so there should be ample opportunity for you to get those. Science and Sport Gels, mile 12 and mile 18. So mile 12 happens to be right through here. And then mile 18, this is going to be in our go section, right at the bottom of this hill, and when we're running flat right through there, kind of parallel to the park, up to the most northern part of our course here. Those are going to be the 2 areas where you do need to keep an eye on if you are planning on bringing your hydration and something happens to it. Make sure you have those in the back of your mind. And again, keep your head about you on race day. The athletes that have the most success out there are going to be the ones that just naturally go through their steps every couple of minutes. How much water have I had? What's my pace been like? Am I going too hard, too fast, too slow? Did I get kicked? Did I get tripped? Did I fall? What's going on with me? You know, am I cramping? Am I having salt on my clothes? What's up? Just constantly be doing that. It's going to be a little bit annoying, but by mile 20, if you've been doing that, and not only that, but reacting to that, you will have a much better success out there for New York 2023 Marathon Sunday. Good luck to everybody. Again, like, subscribe, share. If you have anything that you want to talk to me about personally, don't be afraid to message me. Any coaching needs that you have or coaching consultations, please, please, please let me know. I'll be happy to help you with your race or in the future. Good luck, everyone.